Rabindranath Tagore was a Bengali poet, story writer, playwright, composer, painter and political activist. Born in 1861 in Calcutta, in 1913 he became the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. He wrote so much poetry that here I'm going to concentrate on just one collection, the Penguin Modern Classic Selection by William Radice. Radice, who both chose and translated the poems in here, makes an excellent case to the effect that Tagore couldn't be in better hands. Even so, I do think he may have bitten off more than he, or anyone at all, can chew. Radice introduces his selection with the story of Edward John Thompson, an early devotee of Tagore's poetry. In 1910, Thompson learned Bengali in an effort to bring Tagore's poetry to a wider audience, and he eventually wrote a scholarly biography of him. Nevertheless, in a letter to a friend in 1927, Tagore showed utter contempt for his efforts. So where exactly did Thompson go wrong? Well, he failed to understand many of the theological concepts that formed Tagore's background, and he also failed to appreciate him as a specifically Bengali poet, trying to understand him instead in terms of European poetry. Tagore's chief poetic themes are specifically and deeply Hindu. His starting point is the Jiban Devata, the divine life force that penetrates the creative order with a dynamic personalism. All the major Hindu gods appear in Tagore's work, often in combination with conceptual subtleties like the Prund Leela, the interplay of man and nature, or the Jibana Ranga Bhuma, the playground of life. Superficially, Tagore resembles Rumi, but Rumi really only had one great idea, whereas Tagore ranges much more widely. Add to that structurally there's often a hint of Walt Whitman about his poems, long lines which mean more than they appear to say, and one can appreciate that his poetry can be challenging. Tagore's translation of some of his own poetry on a visit to Britain in 1912 led to him being feted by W.B. Yeats, amongst others, following which there was a bit of a Tagore craze amongst literary folk. But it was short-lived. Yeats, of course, wasn't a typical 20th century poet by any means. As a mystic and an occultist, he was probably more attuned to Tagore's way of thinking than most. All the poems in Radice's selection are thought-provoking, but they take a lot of understanding. His explanatory notes are indispensable, but together with the glossary, they occupy almost as much space in the book as the poems themselves. And that's not counting the long introduction. Having said all that, Radice's selection does at least allow us a glimpse of Tagore's genius, and I doubt he's likely to find a better translator.